Welcome to TMZ Live, an influencer couple who we introduced you to on this show. Last week, we interviewed Ashley and Jesse Ridgway about a very painful, difficult decision they made to abort their unborn child when they found out through testing that the child would be born with Down syndrome. And we talked to them about the backlash they got. They were getting death threats. They had to go to the police to report some of these things. But they shared their entire process, their getting the test results, and their decision on their social media. And they've gotten all sorts of reactions for that. And because there was so much attention on them, I think that's why somebody went back and found a video from 9 years ago that Jesse Ridgway, the father, made that is many people find very upsetting because he is doing an impersonation of someone who has Down syndrome. And in light of the decision they made and the heat that's already on them, this video, which we're about to show you, has gotten people even more upset with the Ridgways. Now, we should say this is a skit that it was a series, an online series that Jesse was acting in when he took on this character. But this is a little bit of the video, and I think you'll understand why a lot of people who are critics of the Ridgways' decision feel that this is incredibly insensitive.
My daily diet, I hate Down syndrome, and this is just how I am. Cause I get
snap your fingers. Snap your fingers.
I get.
Come on, snap. Snap.
Can you take
your
me?
Fingers.
Can you take me to Chuck
Snap
E.
your
Cheese?
fingers in here. Come
I just
on.
want to play Chuck E. Cheese now. Can I play Chuck E. Cheese? I
Just
wanna
say funny.
play
Come on,
that.
snap your fingers.
I'm not doing. My mom.
Snap your fingers.
My mom said I'm not allowed to snap before dark.
So that obviously, clearly, I should have warned you ahead of time. Not a real gun. These are actors in a skit. Jesse Ridgway, we contacted him obviously when we saw all of the backlash that was coming for this clip once someone resurfaced it. And his explanation wasn't so much about the choices he made as an actor, but just to explain what the scene was. He said, I play a character named Isaac Calder who has hijacked Jesse Ridgway's life. My family is pissed, so they hold me at gunpoint and force me to switch characters rapidly. The identity switches happen too fast and it fries my brain. So that's his explanation for what this scene was.
Yeah.
He's not addressing why it's so upsetting for people because obviously what they think is, look, 9 years ago when you made this, you were being insensitive to people with special needs.
Yes.
And now you've made this decision, so have you just always been insensitive to? That
is what people are saying, yes. And his take would be that this is a skit that he was playing in. I don't know if
we should say a scene more than a skit.
Scene,
Skit makes it sound like it's comedy,
SNL,
but it was
I
not
guess.
comedic. No.
Yeah, no. So a scene that he was doing, I don't know if that is definitely an explanation, but yeah, that's his take on everything, that he wasn't mocking any sort of special needs.
And I hear him on that, and I agree that 9 years ago he does the scene. I don't think it's a script that says that the character is going to become someone who has Down syndrome.
Yeah.
And so that's those are his choices as an actor.
I guess other people would also say that even portraying the character in that way would be, or is offensive, I guess.
Yeah, without seeing the full script, I can't say whether the context makes sense or not.
Or was appropriate, or, yeah.
But I wish that when we called him that there had been some acknowledgement of why this is upsetting to people who are already upset about the decision that he and Ashley made, which, by the way, is very much a very personal decision that's theirs to make.
Yes.
But when they shared it with all of their followers, this is what you're going to get.
And they do say that they're experiencing death threats at the moment, given their decision and everything that's been going on. So yeah, it's pretty heavy stuff.
Well, and then the other, thing, after they got all the criticism of their decision, I thought this was really kind of cringeworthy, where one of their users, one of their followers had said to them, well, what was the question? It was, what if your father had aborted you, Jesse.
Oh yeah.
And his response was, well, I'm glad he didn't.
Yeah.
But I'm normal.
Correct. And also the
And
last.
again, that's another thing that just feels like.
The statement about the brain being fried at the end. It just.
Yes.
Yes. A
There
lot
are
of
just
it.
certain words that he's using that are make people feel like there's an insensitivity here. But
Yeah.
it's also, we should acknowledge, I mean, look, they are a couple going through, they've experienced an incredible loss.
Traumatic experience,
So you want to feel for them on that level. But certainly there are things that Jesse has said here that land as insensitive for a lot of people.
Asha from Los Angeles. I think a lot of the backlash that's currently happening, is very divided between how people feel, but this clip is not making anything better. And I think also these are the kind of consequences that you have when you're an influencer, is people can actually go back and reference things that you've made and compare it to current actions that you're taking now. I don't think anybody deserves death threats at all, but it's just a double-edged sword when you choose to share your life like this online.
So well said, the double-edged sword, which we talked to them about when they were on here, like why you decided to share that moment, and when you do, you're right, double-edged sword is the perfect description. While some of us, most of us, I hope, have turned the page from Game 3 of the NBA Finals, where President Trump showed up at Madison Square Garden, and then there was all sorts of backlash when the Knicks lost. People who wanted to blame him, most notably Stephen A. Smith. And we know that that started a whole thing where Stephen A. Smith blamed the president, and the president said that Stephen A. was low IQ. And we kind of thought that was it. It's over and done with. Just another tiff that the president gets into. Apparently not. He has not turned the page, because early this morning, 3:30 a.m., Stephen A. Smith was still on President Trump's mind, and he shared it with the world, saying Stephen A. Smith is an arrogant fool, a low IQ individual. In other words, he's dumb as a rock and totally unqualified to ever think of running for high political office or even low political office. He'd get annihilated in a debate by the most incompetent of politicians. Comes necessary. The Joe Biden shot. Joe Biden's now fabled performance would look great by comparison to anything that this loudmouth huckster has to offer. Why in the world does the president still care about this?
Here's why, Charles, I'll tell you.
Days later, there's a big decision about the war in Iran that he should be focused on.
There's some things going on elsewhere. I think it's that, so Trump makes his initial comments about Stephen A. Smith before he gets onto Air Force One. Then Stephen A. goes on his show
and does
makes his comments.
In front of the flag.
So I think this was Trump's response. The only thing I would say is it took a while to get to it. Why didn't he just do it yesterday?
He must have, you know what? This morning someone must have put the clip for him.
Yeah.
Right. And he decided he wanted to fire back.
So much time passed.
It doesn't
I would just let
matter.
it go.
There are more important things, like you said.
I agree.
But he can't
Right,
say
no, he can't turn down if someone slights him, he's going to clap back.
And
for better or
by the
worse.
way, we can't say that Stephen A. Smith is any better because he decided to respond to that post
This may never
on
stop.
his radio show.
Mr. President, you ain't got to worry about me running. But if I was running, you would have to be worried, because I know there's quite a few people I'd smoke in a debate, including you. With ease, actually. With ease. No disrespect, but I ain't Kamala. And I ain't Joe Biden. I'm a little bit different. Didn't say better. I said I'm a little bit different. Those one-liners you'd come up with, I'd have a quick response for those. That ain't about politics. That's about style and pizzazz. And being quick of foot. Anytime, any place, anywhere.
I would love to see them debate. I think are in an endless...
Over what? Nothing. I mean, they're not, neither...
Just go back and forth.
Stephen A. said he's not going to run for office.
Right.
Trump is probably done.
We think,
right? But yes, I still would like to see the debate.
Yeah. Do you think we're in an endless loop here, Charles? Now, Trump has to respond. Stephen A. then will get on the radio tomorrow, and we just might be in perpetual...
Here's the one thing I will say. The Knicks play Game 4 tonight.
Yeah.
If they win and Trump wasn't there,
Yeah.
you know that Stephen A. is going to say,
Stephen
see, I was right.
Yes.
And then who knows what happens.
I hope he does.
JT, New York. Stephen A. is dumb as a rock. After years of sucking up, Stephen A. bit the hand that feeds him. and it bit back. So he should have stuck to commenting on sports. I say let the match begin. I want a front row seat.
I was suddenly, I started this saying, let's just turn the page and move on. But now the more I talk about it, I actually do want to see this debate.
Coming up.
Well, the verdict against Carmelo Anthony, the guilty verdict for the murder of Austin Metcalf, has set off all sorts of reactions across the country. There were no black jurors, and there are a lot of people who feel like that swung this against Carmelo from the start.
What does the color of his skin have to do with it?
Be right back.
Well, the verdict against Carmelo Anthony, the guilty verdict for the murder of Austin Metcalf, has set off all sorts of reactions across the country. Last year, Carmelo Anthony was a student, a track athlete, and he was at this meet. He ends up in a confrontation with Austin Metcalf and others. Basically, Carmelo was in an area, there were students from another opposing school, and a dispute breaks out, and Carmelo ends up stabbing Austin Metcalf, and he died. So yesterday, the jury returned a guilty verdict and also sentenced Carmelo Anthony, who was 17 at the time of the crime, is now 18, but sentenced him to 35 years in prison. Now, he'll be eligible for parole at about half that time, but this young man's life has obviously been taking a major turn here. And also, there's the loss of life for Austin Metcalf. Now, his family obviously is pleased with the guilty verdict. Not so sure about the sentence. I think it could have been up to 99 years in prison, but instead the jury went with 35 years. So there's some upset on Austin Metcalf's side about the sentence. But the responses to this have been varied and very heated. Everyone from Cardi B posted something shortly after the verdict came down. She said, wow, just freaking wow, disgusting. This is not justice. This is trying to make an example. Now, you may say, there was no dispute about whether or not Carmelo stabbed him. This came down to, was it self-defense? That was his attorneys, that was their defense, that this was self-defense on Carmelo's part. But what's really going on here, and we talked about this when jury selection was completed in this, there were no black jurors. And there are a lot of people who feel like that swung this against Carmelo from the start. In fact, another person who's reacting to the verdict, Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, we got her out on Capitol Hill this morning, and this is what she had to say about race and this trial.
So you think race played a role in the verdict?
Oh my God. I know Collin County. So absolutely. Collin County is right north of Dallas County. And I can tell you that I have had cases that I felt like played out differently because of the counties that they were in. And unfortunately, that was not the county for a black boy.
So if this were a white boy in his exact same position, you don't think he'd get a 35-year sentence?
I would guarantee you it wouldn't have happened. I don't even know if he would have been convicted, because if a white boy would have said that they were afraid of a black boy, something tells me that that jury that didn't have any black people on it, they would have believed him in his fear.
So that's the issue here about the jury selection and the makeup of that jury. When the verdict was announced yesterday, tensions were very high outside the courthouse in Texas, and there were clashes, physical clashes at some points, but a lot of people yelling back and forth, supporters of Carmelo Anthony, supporters of Austin Metcalf's family. And one of the people who was out there organizing protests against the verdict is Minister Dominique Alexander. He is the founder of an organization called Next Generation Action Network, a justice advocacy organization. He is joining us now. Dominique, welcome to TMZ Live.
Thank you for having me.
So I know you have seen, you were there and saw it, right outside the courthouse, the reactions to this, but now you've had a day to see the reactions across the country. Why do you feel that people feel so strongly about this trial, about this verdict on both sides?
I think because of the current climate of our country regarding race relations, that many people try to skip over of the situation. We try to downplay it. We try to say, let's pipe this down, when you can't pipe it down when you have one side that is literally only attacking us for the color of our skin. The reality is from the beginning of this case, the Next Generation Action Network was aware of this case. And we saw the reaction, and we were looking at the comments, and we were looking at the clips of the stories. And we asked the question, what does the color of his skin have to do with it? Why do he got to be called a monkey? Why do he got to be called a thug? Why do he got to be all those names? What we found out was Carmelo Anthony was a 4.0 GPA student, has 62 pending scholarships to college, a very promising future, right? But the reality, when this situation first happened, if you would have took what was going off the vibration of the internet, you would have thought that Carmelo Anthony was a true thug.
I see your point, but race certainly became an issue when the jury selection was completed. What was your feeling about the fact that and it was not an all-white jury, there were Hispanic and Asian jurors as well as white jurors, but the fact that there were no black jurors, what was your feeling that day, as I'm sure you were watching this case from the start?
You know, I joined the community outraged by the situation, because at the end of the day, the reasons that the prosecution used in order to strike those 3 African-American women from the jury who was qualified and on the basis of education, and even the judge didn't even really give a lot of thought into it before he denied the defense objection to it, right? The reality is that even the access to the actual courtroom was very problematic.
So you said something during the trial, or actually before the trial started, that you wanted people to join you in the fight against white supremacy. Where do you see that white supremacy applies in this case? Because, as you mentioned, Carmelo's race wasn't really part of the actual crime, nor was Austin Metcalf's. There were no epithets being hurled during this clash between Carmelo and the other students. Where does white supremacy come into this?
Well, first off, I'll say that I don't believe that everything was presented in court, right? I joined some of the echoes that, I'm not an attorney, but did I agree what was introduced in court in the evidence? No, I didn't, right? I believe that our organization has been here since the beginning.
What evidence do you think was excluded that should have been included?
Well, I think that there was multiple situations that happened that day that weren't introduced to the actual court. But at the end of the day, I think it was a huge problem.
If you could speak to the jurors, what is it you think the jurors didn't take into account that you wish they did?
Well, I think this is the reality, is that Black America has been told time and time, so we have to take our emotions out of a situation and just read the rule of law, right? And be adherent to the law. The reality is that Texas has some of the strongest stand your ground laws. It allows permitless carry, open carry, brass knuckles, a knife under 5 inches. But whenever a Black man try to use those same basic rights, he's told again and again that those are not for you, right? And so the reality is that for Black America and for a lot of people, that jury coming back let us know that those laws weren't created for us, and they're clear. The knife was legal, and we have the strongest stand your ground laws, right? And that's what people have been saying for years. Those laws were never created to support us. And that's what that jury said yesterday. It's clear, and we stand by that.
All right, Dominique, thank you for joining us, and I hope that whatever happens down there, that you guys, that you can keep it peaceful. I understand that people are going to protest, and they should. It's their right. But more violence isn't going to be the answer.
And remember, our organization put out strong stance to have people come to the court with peace. We also held a press conference the day before the verdict calling for peace. We continue to echo those words, but we understand the outrage of the conviction. And we ask that the community continue to stand in revolutionary peace, but make your peace and put it into action. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, Dominique.
Coming up.
Well, the Taylor Swift marriage everyone was waiting for went down last night. Taylor Swift and Toy Story.
Be right back.
TMZ's got every freaking thing. Big celebs, big stories, big events.
Donnell Rawlings took TMZ DC on a city tour.
You know what the irony of this is? A black man takes a white person to the White House.
It's TMZ.
Well, the Taylor Swift marriage everyone was waiting for went down last night. Taylor Swift and Toy Story. Sorry, Travis. He knew it wasn't about him. But yes, Taylor Swift, did a song for the Toy Story 5 soundtrack. And she has said that this is the thrill of her career because she grew up watching all of the Toy Story movies, and now she's actually part of the latest Toy Story movie. So she's really excited, showed up for the premiere in Hollywood last night, and then pulled off a little surprise. I don't think that they screened the movie, but then she came out and actually performed. And not only did she perform her song, which is already racing up the charts, will probably be #1 next week, her song from the movie I Knew It, I Knew You, but she performed the Toy Story song with the Randy Newman.
You come to see it's our destiny. You got a friend in me. You got a friend in me. You got a friend in me.
You know that Taylor's fans are going to want that song to be released, that version to be released as a single now. Are you crying?
No.
Oh.
Does it look like I'm crying?
No,
oh my God. I should
no,
fix my
because
makeup.
this morning when we played that, there were people like, I have chills.
Yeah, I mean, it
Because
definitely takes you back. It is one of those sad, nostalgic songs from our past. And I mean, she's very much a millennial. She was born in 1987. She said that having a song in one of the Toy Story movies was
born
just
in
like the
1989,
top.
by the way.
1989, sorry, I'm 1987. Whew. She is 1989.
Wow, Swifties, I saved you from the Swifties.
I know. Woo. But she even brought a VHS tape of the original Toy Story. People thought it was a purse. They're like, oh, that's a cool purse. Like it's a VHS tape. No, she brought her old VHS Toy Story tape with her that Tim Allen signed and Tom Hanks.
Wow.
She was so stoked. She was fanning out.
Yeah, you can see that Tom Hanks was like, what? Why you have one of these? Yeah, that's a great moment for her. Definitely a great moment. And
well, you know what was a great moment?
With Randy.
Yep. You know what was a great moment for fans?
What?
Taylor kinda sorta wearing white. Kinda sorta wearing white. She wore this dress on the carpet. It's Erdem, which is a British designer. These dresses are like thousands of dollars.
I saw that in our post someone said that it was giving bridal vibes.
It is giving bridal vibes. It's giving like bridal shower vibes.
Okay, bridal shower. I'll
Yeah.
give you that. I just don't know that I've seen brides in dresses that short, but maybe I'm just old.
Well, yes, you transition now. You do the long gown when you're walking down the aisle, and then you transition the dress to like more of a party dress for when you're breaking it down on the dance floor.
Oh my gosh.
Get with the program, Charles.
Okay. By the way, speaking of when she will actually be wearing a bridal gown.
Yeah.
That
July
wedding
3rd.
at Madison Square Garden.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty pricey.
Yeah.
Because she's rented it out for at least, so the day before the wedding, there are 3 days actually before the wedding that are open on Madison Square Garden's schedule. And we're told that she is going to be using up at least a couple of those days for the preparation for whatever's going on in the garden.
Yeah, so whatever this is going to be a huge event because they're taking, like you said, Charles, days before to set up. The actual event, we're told, is July 3rd, and then they're going to strike the set the day after.
So that's the cost for renting out the garden, about $1 million a day. And what's interesting, we were told she did not get a discount. You would think that maybe Taylor Swift. They give her a little, nudge and a wink
or
discount.
give it to her for free because everyone's talking about MSG right now because now people are looking at it like a wedding venue. No one ever looked at MSG thinking like, I want to get married there. No one, but Taylor Swift is getting married there. So now we're looking at it differently.
Yeah, I don't know how many people could actually look at it as, Bezos is already married, Zuckerberg's married. I guess Elon,
so you're saying
not
appealing to anybody that can afford it?
Who else can afford it?
Yeah.
Right.
By the way, quickly, speaking of MSG, big Knicks game tonight versus the Spurs.
Oh, yeah. Look at you.
Yeah, guess who is potentially showing up to the game at MSG?
There's no way Taylor's.
Yep, we're told that she has expressed interest and is expected to attend tonight. Wow.
Great. Just another distraction we need.
Anasia, coming from Brooklyn, New York. I think she's definitely making a statement with wearing white to different events, her and her tired bang and red lip. It goes along with her brand, going to family-friendly events. She's always trying to appeal to children, so this seems very on brand for her. And also, I wouldn't give her a discount either. She's a billionaire.
Yeah, she can afford it. It's all good. It's a publicly traded company, so they have to answer to stockholders. I don't think they would appreciate knowing that Taylor Swift got 3 days for free at the Garden.
Coming up.
Jimmy Kimmel leading the trolling of Spencer Pratt now that he is not going to be the next mayor. So Jimmy Kimmel reminded him of something he said on the campaign trail about what the future looks like if he does not become mayor, as he's not going to be. Here's what Jimmy had to say about it.
Be right back.
Welcome back to TMZ Live. Spencer Pratt is learning the downside of entering into the political arena. When you win, it's all great. As they say, to the victor go the spoils. When you lose, everybody piles on. And they remind you of everything you said on the campaign trail, and then they throw it right back in your face. Jimmy Kimmel leading the trolling of Spencer Pratt now that he is not going to be the next mayor, didn't make it for the runoff. So he's out of politics, but what's next? We said that there's a possibility he could run for some other office. He got a lot more support than I think people thought he would get in his run for mayor. But Jimmy Kimmel reminded him of something he said on the campaign trail about, what the future looks like if he does not become mayor, as he's not going to be. Here's what Jimmy had to say about it on his show last night.
So now we wait to hear from Spencer Pratt. He clearly promised that if Karen Bass or Nithya Raman were elected mayor, he's going to move out of L.A. He said he was done with L.A. And Spencer, if you're watching, we are so sorry to see you go. And I know things might be tight right now, especially the out-of-state donation money is running out. Moving is expensive. So to help you out, we rented you a U-Haul. It has plenty of room. It's got 2 beds, tables, chairs, all your crystals, whatever you want. Our staff spent the whole day decorating it for you. So, and everybody that will notice you and wave goodbye as you leave. And I hope that you and Heidi are happy wherever it is you go.
Wow. Yeah. He went pretty hard.
He did. He added at the end, he's like, I'll drop it off for you outside the Hotel Bel Air. Another pot shot, given the whole fiasco about whether he lived in the trailer on his property. I do think there was a tinge of tone deafness to it because Spencer Pratt's campaign started because of the Palisades fire. He actually did lose his home, and he fired back. Did you see what he said?
Yes. So Spencer's response was to post the rubble from where his home used to be. He said, Jimmy, I guess you missed the part of the story. I don't need a U-Haul. I have nothing left to pack.
So he seized on this tone deafness, and it was a little mean-spirited, although he did say it, and it was a troll, and he put the balloons on the U-Haul, but that was on a lot of people's minds, maybe not in the audience at Jimmy Kimmel's show, who are all going to be of like-minded with Jimmy Kimmel, but it hit me a little bit that way. I mean, Spencer Pratt ran because he was aggrieved over how the fires were handled.
The reason he started running is hard to ignore because, look, he did lose his house, and thousands of other people in LA are going through the battle of how to rebuild at this point. Yeah. So
and he used it as a joke on late night.
I think everybody, even Jimmy Kimmel, would say he feels badly for Spencer Pratt about that. clearly there are just a lot of people who feel that doesn't mean you run for mayor.
Sure.
But look, he stepped up. It just didn't work out, and now.
And he's saying he did promise to get out of town.
He's going to get trolling like this. He's not going to leave town.
He's not leaving.
Even if he goes to Santa Barbara, and he might do that. That's where Heidi's been living anyway, since their house burned down. I don't think that means he's done in politics.
A lot of people say this kind of stuff and they don't follow through. I think Spencer will be the same.
Imani from New Jersey. Does Spencer know that he has 30 minutes? Jimmy is like, pack this up immediately. The U-Haul that he rented actually should probably be a little bit bigger to fit all of Spencer's crystals and his ego. With any hope, the U-Haul will make it to either Texas or Florida, where he probably actually belongs.
Wow. Jimmy suggested wherever he goes, he should run for mayor there. I don't know. We'll see what the future holds for Spencer. I really think he should run if he's really serious about helping LA. And if you are, and you really want to help change LA, run for city council. Find out. The criticism of Spencer Pratt was always he has no experience. He doesn't understand how the city runs. He doesn't have any administrative. Run for city council and learn. Learn how it runs, and then they can't say that about you. But I don't know. I don't know if he feels he's above that now. Well, personally, I'm kind of ticked off. I am just now trying to figure out, I think I have the layout of all the Summer House characters, and it's over. The reunion, the third part of the reunion, yes, there were 3 parts, finally aired last night. There were a lot of people still sniping at each other over the fact that Kyle and Amanda, who were married, are now separated, and Amanda is now with West, and West used to be with Sierra. See, I got it all down. I learned it. No one's happy. No one's proud of me. Anyway, Kyle, who we have not heard a lot from, spoke up for himself and said something about the future of Amanda and West's relationship. He sat down with People and got it off his chest.
I felt incredibly betrayed by Wes and Amanda. It just felt more defensive than it was remorseful. I'm trying to be as patient as can be, but I think my patience has run out. There's a reason why the whole friend group felt affected. It's kind of like he's banging his sister.
Banging his sister? Okay, what is that a reference to?
I mean, they were obviously super. I mean,
see, I thought I had this all figured out.
Yeah, the whole thing is weird. I mean, I can understand he's obviously saying he feels betrayed. He feels like this is someone who...
I get the betrayal part.
He was married to her. They still are married, technically.
So were Wes and Amanda like really good friends? Is that what he's saying?
Right, they were all really good friends. This whole situation has really broken up the friend group, right? Amanda and Wes have been traveling internationally because no one else in the group really wants to hang out with them. Now there's this question because the show goes into production on, I believe it's July 4th weekend. They go back into production for another season. So it'll be interesting to see.
Do they change out some of the friends every season?
Yeah, there's already rumors saying certain people might not be
back.
Gonna
go back on that show, right?
I mean, if she's smart, I think she would. She'd lean into when Ariana Madix leaned into the whole Vanderpump Rules thing and look at the career she got. I mean, she was known obviously and had an amazing career, but it put her on a whole nother level, and that could be Sierra now. I don't know. I think it would be crazy if Sierra didn't come back.
Why don't Sierra and Kyle get together?
I mean, they were
I don't
smart.
write it for them, but...
or they should come up with some product or a brand and put their name on it and hawk it. I mean, they have a lot of people in their corner.
Betrayal. the new fragrance from Kyle and Sierra.
That's actually a smart idea.
Brianna from Long Island. Honestly, I feel like when Kyle makes the reference to it feels like Wes is banging his sister, I don't think people realize how close-knit of a group this friend group really is. It's not just a reality show. These are people's real lives and real relationships are at stake. So I definitely think that this is more than just Sierra's hurt. Kyle's also hurt too. But I will say it doesn't excuse Kyle's bad behavior towards Amanda.
What was Kyle's bad behavior to Amanda? I thought that they didn't sleep together for 4 years. Right? Did I get that right? Kyle and Amanda? Nobody?
They were it was teetering out at the end there. But again, it's still weird they haven't filed for divorce and all this is going on.
Yeah, what's up with that?
File for divorce.
Coming up.
The former Next Top Model, America's Next Top Model contestant who is suing Kanye West for sexual assault, is speaking out about the alleged crime and how it all went down. during a music video shoot in New York City.
So suffocated, like unsure.
Be right back.
The former Next Top Model, America's Next Top Model contestant who is suing Kanye West for sexual assault, is speaking out about the alleged crime and how it all went down during a music video shoot in New York City. Jen Ahn spoke to the BBC and detailed her version of what went down that day.
It started where he went up to my face and he was like smearing my makeup on my face, and he started sticking his fingers in my mouth, and I feel like he was like trying to touch as much as he could, and I was actively, my tongue was like hiding from him, and he just like found everything. I remember feeling like so suffocated, like unsure, like scared. At some point he like reached like a point that I assume he was very happy with himself, and he like yelled something like, "This is art, I'm Picasso." And shortly after that, I think he was just like, okay, I got what I want.
So that's her version of the alleged incident, but Kanye obviously has a much different...
Yeah, so like you said, this is a lawsuit that she filed in 2024. It's still ongoing. Obviously,
the incident, by the way,
happened in 2010.
Okay.
So Kanye's team has also filed documents responding to this lawsuit where he lays out, he wants it thrown out because he's alleging that it was all artistic stuff for the music video. It was not sexual in nature at all, and that's basically his side of this interaction. So he isn't saying that
So he's not necessarily disputing the whole, at least the part about the fingers in the mouth. And,
correct, but he thinks that, but basically it was all done for, out in the open for a music video, and that's why he wants the case to be thrown out.
The judge has not ruled yet on his...
Has not ruled. This, I believe, is the first time of her speaking publicly on camera about it.
Hi, Grace from New York. Kanye lost credibility with me a long time ago, like based on years of behavior that's been super erratic and generally offensive. I'm not really inclined to take him at his word. I think also if you're asking the public to trust your version of events, to dismiss the other person's perspective is generally not the best way to build credibility. So to say she's just not understanding the art feels extremely patronizing and very dismissive, which it just feels like a lazy way out. But I guess that doesn't really shock me based on what I've known of him.
Yeah. It will be interesting to see what the judge thinks about his take on this, that it was all for the music video. That is an interesting, again, that's his version of it. She definitely, what she described did not sound like this was something for a music video.
Coming up.
I love Tracy Morgan. Almost everything he does, I just think is hilarious. This is not necessarily one of those situations.
I can't stand teachers. You know why? Because they have a ceiling. They have a limit.
Be right back.
I love Tracy Morgan. Almost everything he does, I just think is hilarious. This is not necessarily one of those situations because he sat down for CNN and Variety's Actors on Actors series, sat down with a fellow SNLer, Marcelo Hernandez, and he was talking about being a class clown, something I'm sure Marcelo admits in this clip was an issue for him, probably was for Tracy too, and Tracy has some very strong feelings about teachers as a result.
They told me I did mischief.
No,
school. Mischief.
I don't think they know they didn't understand you.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You had a sense of humor. Mm-hmm. And they couldn't control that.
They can't
control God gave that to you.
Nope. And now look at, I'm getting paid for mischief.
And they still making minimum wage.
No.
You know how much some teachers probably making right now?
Man, not enough.
And I can't stand teachers. You know why? Because they have a ceiling. They have a limit. That's all they ever gonna be.
I hope.
I
hope. One, I hope Tracy Morgan's at the Knicks game tonight. Go Knicks. But also, I hope that was a bit the whole way through.
It for sure is a bit.
It felt like it started as a bit, But at the end, it felt, I don't know, and maybe it's because I have educators in my family, and I just felt like that was like disrespectful to teachers.
No, I think it was a bit that maybe didn't go as planned. I think he just kind of flopped there at the end.
I mean,
but I
Marcelo
don't think that's
definitely
true.
thought it was funny. He was on to do
For
a spit
sure.
take.
You laughed. It's
and
funny.
I laughed also. It was funny because you're not expecting him to do it. But then when he continued and he said, you know, because they have
There's
a limit.
a ceiling, there's
they
a
got
limit.
Ceiling and they have a limit. And I teach my kids to have no limits. Like, now it feels like you seriously have this issue with teachers, and I don't think that's fair. Like, teachers, even Marcelo was trying to say, yeah, I hope they're
Teachers
making a
need to
lot
be
more.
paid
Teachers
more.
deserve more. That's why I did not expect Tracy to say.
I know a good bit when I see one. I'm gonna go ahead and say he's just joking around.
Tell us why you know a good bit when you see
As a
one.
retired class clown myself, I am, inclined to sniff out bits like a bloodhound. And this one, I'm gonna
I
go
would
ahead
argue
and
you're not retired.
Thank you so much. That means the world to me and more.
Alicia, San Diego, California. My first thought was, dang, summer's out and teachers still can't catch a break. I feel like celebrities, when they become successful, they give a random shout out to their 3rd or 4th grade teacher. And as we know, teachers are the most underpaid, but they're always going to have a student who remembers them for the rest of their life. I do think the biggest troublemakers that are the most successful are the either most talkative, I was most talkative, or they were class clown, as you mentioned, as a retired class clowner yourself, homegirl.
Yeah, Talia. Everyone does remember their teacher. Talia, you have a teacher that you remember?
I do,
remember fondly.
Miss Murphy, 3rd grade, greatest teacher I ever had, told me that she knew that someday she would watch me on TV.
Shout out to Miss Murphy. What else you guys want to talk about?
Hey, I'm Max. I'm in Los Angeles. I'm talking about the Stephen A. and Trump beef. I feel like there's an opportunity for like a really good daytime sitcom or talk show with both of them. They should squash the beef and just gab, you know? It's kind of like the 2 old Muppets.
Yeah, they would
in the
actually.
back of the theater.
They are oddly similar in a lot of ways, but yeah, that would be awesome if it could happen. It won't though.
Coming up.
We have a very important Love Island update. You may remember that we told you about the Pennsylvania cop. Sean Rifle was the first person voted off of Love Island this season, unfortunately for him. But he can go back and be a police officer, except that the mayor says he's going to have to start from zero.
Be right back.
All right, before we go, we have a very important Love Island update. You may remember that we told you about the Pennsylvania cop who was on Love Island, Sean Rifle, and we had the mayor of Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, on talking about, the fact that they just lost a police officer to a reality show. Turns out they did not lose him for very long. Sean Rifle was the first person voted off of Love Island this season, unfortunately for him. But he can go back and be a police officer, except that the mayor says he's going to have to start from zero. The mayor said that he backs the police chief in saying that Sean can come back, but he's got to start the entire process over again, get certified. I think they're going to make him go to the academy again, too. Wow. Anyway, Sean, it's always important to have a safety net when Love Island doesn't work out, as it typically doesn't for most people. That's going to do it for us. We'll see you tomorrow.